So as you are aware now, Christo and I are going for a middle-aged OE. Hopefully it will, won't stop us being able to travel around Europe and the UK. So we'll take you on as much of the journey as we can going home for our OE. Part of that today is us actually going and having our COVID test. I'm not sure if I'll be able to video all of that, but if I can, you'll see us having our PCR COVID test. So this is the one we need to do to show that we're COVID free. Hopefully we're COVID free. I'm sure we are. Don't see how we can't be because we haven't got it here. So we've we're on our way to New Plymouth to have our COVID test, and once we've got that, it gets driven down to Wellington, and then we get our results back tomorrow, and then we take them to the airport with us. So come along on the journey of us leaving New Zealand and going back to the UK, and then going off around Europe as well. I suppose some people also might be asking why, it's May now, why we're travelling during the pandemic from a safe country to the UK. And as you've seen in previous videos, Christo actually had prostate cancer this year, my husband, and we had a bit of a scare. So we've just decided that we want to go and try and see some of the country, some of the world. It's probably not the best time to be going because obviously everything is shut down, but we just I want to visit with my family as well. I haven't seen my family now for nearly 2 years, and it never seems to be a good time at the moment. It's knowing whether or not everything's going to stay locked down or if things are going to open up, and the UK looks like it's starting to make real good headway with the vaccinations. So we're going to go and just see. We've got somewhere to stay, so that means that we're not incurring loads of costs with having to worry about hotels and things like that. We can self-isolate as well because we're coming from a safe green country. So yeah, there's probably never a good time at the moment to do anything, but definitely when you've had a scare, it makes you realise that life can be too short and you just want to get going and go and see stuff. So hopefully we'll get there, we'll be able to see some of our country, some of the UK, and then the plan is to go off and do Europe. I'll give you a bit of background about booking the test. So we're told online that we have to go and ring our GP, or we ring the health line. So I rang my GP and said to them that we need to have a COVID test for international travel, and the GP said they get back to me. So I waited a couple of days and no one got back to me. So I rang the health line and asked them where I had to have, and bearing in mind this is a government health line, I said, where can I go and have the test? And the lady told me online, she was very helpful, but she told me online I have to either go to Mount Ruapehu, to Wanganui, or to Auckland. Now Auckland, for people that aren't in this country, is a 5-hour drive. Wanganui is about 2 hours, and Ruapehu is about 3. So basically there was nowhere in Taranaki that I could go and have the test done. So I thought, okay, fair enough. So bearing in mind you can have a COVID test done here for free if you're not leaving the country. So I phoned up Wanganui, spoke to a very, very helpful young lady. We booked everything in. I'd actually booked the wrong date to begin with because I thought we were flying out on the 14th. It turns out we fly into London on the 14th. So she was very, very helpful. And then about a week later I got a phone call from the nurse at my local health centre. And she said, oh, I believe you needed to have a test for international travel. And I said, yes, and you can't have it done in Taranaki. And she said, yes, you can. You can have it done at the Phoenix. We do them all the time. So imagine my surprise that the health line, which is government run, has no idea where you can have your COVID test done. But my lovely nurse at my local healthcare GP does. So we phoned up. We decided whether or not we were going to stay local because no one seemed very organised. But actually we thought, well, if there's any problems with our test, we're best having it done here so that we can go back and get it done if we have to have it done again. So hence the fact we're only having to do a 20-minute drive to New Plymouth as opposed to a 2-hour drive to Wanganui. Well, this is where we're going for our COVID test. It's not open till 8:30. We can't make an appointment, we have to just go along. And How you feeling about this, Christo? Are you excited?
Yep. No, not really. I'm going to stick something up my nose.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be uncomfortable, but I think we'll be all right. It's expensive, that's for sure. First world problems, I understand that, but it is very expensive. It'd be over $500 for us to have this test done. But again, first world problems, not moaning, just making people aware that it definitely is very expensive if you're having it done for travel reasons.
That's your brain.
I'm glad you found one.
Okay.
Oh, it makes your eyes water.
Done.
Oh, that's easy enough. Just breathe down. Did it make your eyes water? Yeah. We've just had our COVID test. Christo's still crying. Wasn't unpleasant. It wasn't pleasant, but it was quite easy to do. We're just waiting for the paperwork now so that we can take it off and send it to the lab. Just dropping off our test so that we can get it driven down to Wellington. What a lot of admin for a bloody test. Just going to borrow a saying from another YouTuber I watch, which is, so this is Future Tammy talking about the video that I'm now editing. So we've just done all our PCR tests. We've driven it to Bell Block to send off to Wellington. Now this should be quite an easy system, apparently. We would get the results the next day and then we'd be all good to fly. Bearing in mind this is 2 days before we're due to fly out the country. So on the next day, I rang round to find out where our results were and no one knew where they were. No one knew whether or not they'd got down there. No one knew anything. So up until 5 o'clock the day before we flew out, I was running around trying to find out who had our results, where I was going to get the paperwork from and everything. I eventually got 5:15. I got a link that I could then go onto to be able to print my results off. Unfortunately, I got a link for myself, but I didn't get a link for Christo. So I had to ring back the people that had given me the link, and they had closed down. So then I had to ring another number and get hold of someone else and ask them to. The lady was very friendly, very helpful, and she actually took the result. She sent me a PDF of it, so I was able then to do both of those tests. And also we had to do a locator form, and in the locator form we had to put all our results on. So we were negative, so that was really good. But it was a very stressful 24 hours to the point I just felt like crying and thinking, what the hell am I doing? So again, I know these are first world problems, but I think you just need to be aware that even if they're used to doing PCR tests, that it may have some repercussions as far as waiting for the results to come back and where to get them. And I'll give you an update when I do the next video, which is us going to the airport, on the poor people in front of us.